So this next question is around the Clifton Forge Charter and whether and that it is a legal document and whether any violation of the charter is unethical. And I guess we'll start with Ms. Loudermilk.
The charter is a legally binding document. As far as violation of the charter being unethical, I think the charter pretty well describes the powers that the town council has and how things can be changed if need be. So depending on what the situation is, unethical, I think it just has to go through a process to make a change.
Yeah, there's so many things on the charter. You'd have to pinpoint what violation would be to be unethical, but that's what
The town charter is a legal document. Our lawyer goes by it when we have a problem and dealing with a problem. I do not have it memorized. Unethical, a very interesting word, to me anyway. Because I had one person tell me that something was unethical because I didn't agree with them. I don't think that's part of the law because we disagree. If anybody has a problem with that, what they ought to do is point it out to one of us and we'll deal with it and talk to the lawyer about it. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's a legal document. As far as what's ethical and unethical, I pretty much wouldn't care as long as it's legal. I mean, you just gotta, everything just has to be legal. We do. I mean, unethical, that's subjective to me. So, I mean, if it's legal and we could do it, we do it. So that's it.
And I'm thinking I heard the question also correctly. It asked, is it legal? And as far as I know, it is a legal document because, and I don't think anyone's challenged its legality in court. So it is the framework that we go by. I don't think you should intentionally try to circumvent our framework. You know, do you sometimes do it unknowingly? Bob made a great point. Hey, we have legal counsel, and we need to lean on legal counsel who's trained in municipality government to ask, you know, have we stepped out of bounds of our responsibilities? Are we operating within our parameters? So I think you need to really rely on our legal representation that's at town council meetings. Yeah, I don't think any type you have rules, why would you try to circumvent the rules? So, has it happened unknowingly? Maybe it has. You know, I don't know of a specific instance, but I think you try to follow the rules when you have rules.
I agree. The town charter, when you sign on to be a town council member, you sign on to follow the charter and to make sure that it's upheld. And that if you intentionally try to get around the rules or try to do something that, you know, might be a gray area, that would be unethical. I don't think that I've heard of any instances of anyone intentionally trying to break the town charter or trying to do something that was unethical. But if someone were to, you know, try to work the system to their own benefit, yes, that would be unethical, and they should not be able to be on town council if that was something that they had done. Again, I haven't heard of any instances of that, but I would agree that that would be unethical.
Great, thank you. Our next question will begin with Mr. Nicely. As everyone knows, Clifton Forge was recently in the movie Dope Sick, the successful series of Dope Sick. As a town council member, is there anything that you would do concerning the opioid problem?
Right this second, I don't have anything on my head that I would try to do. it is a problem in this community, and each and every one of us have dealt with it in a family member or some sort. I would push to try to have testing, maybe some sort of group here in town that would work with people that are addicted. It's a sad thing. I would do my best to work with other council members to figure out some sort of option.
Interesting question to me. First of all, I think if I talk to 50 people, 30 of them are going to say there's no problem. 20 might say, yeah, there's a little bit of problem, but it doesn't bother us. I think to understand the problem and deal with it, you have to accept the fact that it does exist. I think this community probably ought to wake up just a little bit more and look at the fact that it does exist, and at the rate we're going right now, it's going to cripple us. So we have to do something about it. But if people keep denying that it does not exist, or keep saying that it exists and deny it's not there, that's not helping the situation. I think it is a problem. I deal with a lot of athletes at the high school. I don't know many kids up there that are involved in it. I try to help them if I can. But we have got to get our heads out of the sand and realize it is a problem.
I think the first thing that we need to do is to try to help with the problem, is that we need to stop going after the dealers and focus more our attention on the users. I mean, most people get hooked on that. You know, I guess they're going through hard times, and you know, a lot of people get hooked on it, subscription drugs or some recreational use they may want to use it for. But we need to let them know a lot of it, I believe, could be related to financial reasons or some with depression. So I think we need to really start focusing on the people that's actually on opioids and not the dealers. And I think we'll get a lot better results out of that, because going after the people who's actually dealing them, I mean, everybody's seen that you get one dealer, there's another one 10 minutes later. So if we actually go after the users and help them, we'll eventually get the dealers also. So if we go after the users, and that's it, you got to let them know where there's help and where they can get help. I mean, we always said that, all right, there's help for people, but actually getting that help is very hard. It's very hard to somebody that's on it. I mean, they're looked at and judged and things like that. So we need some type of anonymous help that they can go to, or some anonymous department that they can go to and actually get the help that they need to, get off of it. Thanks.
Dope Sick, while part of it was filmed in Clifton Forge, not necessarily just Clifton Forge having the problem. It's a national crisis that we're facing right now. So for me to sit up here and think I have the answer, I wish I did. I'd be calling the news right now. I'd be calling CNN. I have the answer right now, but I don't have the answer. What I would do is lean on and support anyone who does have any ideas that could possibly, help forward this. We have responsibility as town council to try to keep our community safe. And part of that would be if we can help find people the help they need, and deal with it's obviously an addiction, it's like any addiction. It's a problem. It's not an easy problem to solve. I know our police forces locally, they spend a lot of their time and resources. Everyone's opened up the newspaper and seen the rest. So obviously, if you could help reduce that problem, you do anything you could to do that. It would help free up those resources of our police departments to take care of other issues that they face.
I think in our area, we have a wonderful community services board. We have available resources for people, but maybe they don't know that they're available. There are a lot of mental health aspects to addiction, especially opioid addiction. We need to focus on better mental health outcomes in our area. Maybe we need to focus less on the criminality of drugs and more on the societal impacts. We need to worry about taking care of our family and friends and neighbors. As a council member, I would help promote the efforts of our Community Services Board, where they're trying to make sure that people know that they have access to help. I think we can always push, more social media posts. We can always push, just telling other people that there are resources available, talking to your neighbors, talking to friends and family. Anytime that we know that somebody's going through something that's a little bit difficult, we need to make sure that we come together and make sure that they understand that they're supported. Drug addiction affects more than just the person who's addicted. It affects their entire family and all of the people who love them. So we need to show them love and support before it gets to that point.
I think opioid issues are everywhere. None of us are escaping this. It is everywhere. And I think one thing that we can do as council members is open our eyes and open our ears and reach out to people, just talk to people, and listen to what they have to say. Help those who need help find the resources that they need to begin recovery. We do have a great CSB here, and I doubt very seriously that many of the people who are dealing with this horrible addiction really know how to reach out and ask for the help that they need. So I think that as council members, we can help with that process and just talk to people and offer them information to contact the resources that they need to help them recover.
Great. Any other questions, Teresa? Okay, so thank you very much for your for answering the questions. You will now, each of you will have 3 minutes to present any final statements about your candidacy, explain why you're running for office, and anything else that you would like to add to the group. And we will start with Mr. Umstead. I believe that's where we left off.
All right. I've been on town council at the end of this year. After this election, it'll be 8 years. I bring a vast amount of experience, sometimes wisdom, but sometimes wisdom is a little screwed up. Because my main concern is the people and the town. People find it easy to talk to me. Some people don't find it easy to talk to me. The one question I'm asked the most, will you talk to me? And I say, yeah, if you want to hear the truth. If you don't want to hear the truth, don't talk to me, because I'm going to tell you the truth. And that's the same with my vote. If you vote for me, I'm going to tell you the truth. I have no hidden agendas. It doesn't matter to me one way or the other, because my voice is going to be heard, whether I'm on town council or not. I enjoy town council. In the past 8 years I've been there, I think a lot of wonderful things have happened. And I think I would just appreciate the fact that maybe 5,000 or 6,000 people would go out and vote. We don't have that many here. I'm disappointed right now, and as I look out in the audience, the number of people that are not here. The number of people that do not care. That irritates me. They want what they want, when they want it, on their terms, because they care. Somebody should be here asking us questions about things maybe we can't answer. Being on town council is an awesome responsibility. The 8 years I've been there, when there have been the elections that they've had, people that have made it said, I didn't know it was this involved. I didn't know you had to do these things. There's a lot of things that you have to do. We don't put out fires. We give the matches to Chuck, and Chuck prevents the fires. The relationship between town manager, public works, the fire department, the police department, the rescue squad is very important. I think I have a good working relationship with all of them. My histories prove that I have, and I'm going to continue to do that. So I appreciate your support running for my 3rd term on Clifton Forge Town Council. Thank you.
Mr. Baxter.
I think I'm a great candidate and deserve your vote, because I just put it like this: I'm going to give the power back to the neighborhoods. I mean, I don't think it's right that, I hear a lot of things about the street I live on, a certain person. I don't think it's right that someone, let's say in the Heights, tells someone downtown how to live. Because, I mean, it's different. The neighborhoods, every city or every town you go into, every neighborhood starts to look different, depends on where you're going in. Different neighborhoods, those people have different problems and different issues. So I want Clifton Forest to be separated into groups, and whatever neighborhood you live into, you have the right to determine how your neighborhood looks. The next thing is like Bob says, like not a lot of people here, because the town council has came into a way, it's like, okay, me telling you how to live, you're not listening to me, you don't really, I don't really care, because you're gonna do what you wanna do anyway. And when I'm on council, it's not gonna be like that. Whatever you say is gonna affect on where you live at. I mean, if you want, I've been to things and some people say there's been cars parked there, and, I hear like we can't do anything about it, or this neighborhood has a dumpster been there, and again, we say we can't do anything about it. I mean, I don't live in certain areas, so I should not tell you how to live. I'll just make a policy where everybody's going to be respected, everybody's going to be heard, and that's it. I mean, that's why nobody really comes, because everybody just tells everybody, look, I think you should do this, or I think you should do this, or you're going to do this. It's like, you don't live next to me. You don't have no interest on where I live at or what I do. Stop telling me what I should do with my life or my neighborhood. I mean, my neighbor should tell me what I should do. You're bothering me. You're lowering the value of my house. Yeah, I can hear that from my neighbor, but don't tell me if you live somewhere else and you're just coming down there to look down on me. No, don't tell me that. I mean, I don't think the council should tell anybody how to live, because there's things in Clifton Forge that ain't right. I mean, we get a code enforcer and things like that and say, okay, well, what about all these buildings? What about all these buildings? Look how rightly that building is. Why don't you go tell this person? I mean, we're picking and choosing who we go to, who we talk to about what issue, because we may know that person, and it shouldn't be like that.
I'd first like to thank everyone that came out tonight. Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming here and listening to us and what we've got to say. I'd like to thank Teresa Hammond and the Chamber for putting on this event. It's events like these that help keep the public involved and knowledgeable. And I think that's really essential, it's for somebody that's never been to a town council meeting, who doesn't know us personally. And this is a great venue to do that, so thank you and your workers and the lady from the Women's Club and Dr. Anthony for your time tonight. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to people. And that's basically what this job's about. I've thoroughly enjoyed my short stay so far on town council. I love giving back to my community. I've done that in a number of ways throughout my adult life. I enjoy talking to the people and being responsive and trying to work through any problems that do arise and trying to keep pushing Clifton Forge forward. I think while I do have a good educational background, I think the biggest thing I bring is a willingness to listen, and I bring a common sense approach to trying to tackle any problems that we face. I'm really good at listening, and I think as long as we continue to have great volunteer effort out of this town, there's a lot of voices to be heard. So my main thought is, as many minds come many good ideas. So I think I'd love to have the opportunity, and I know I'd love to have the opportunity to serve on town council after you guys vote come November. I'd encourage everybody, if you're not registered, to get registered and come to the polls, because speaking your voice starts with the vote. That's the first step, and vote for the person that you think best represents the town. Thank you.
I want to start by saying I don't think that people don't care. I think that people do care. I think that sometimes 6 o'clock is a hard time to get here. I know that for myself, I had to find childcare to be here. I know that childcare is an issue in our area. We don't always have somewhere that we can just drop off our kids so that we can go to a council meeting or so that we can go to a committee meeting. People who have young children to take care of, they might care very deeply about our area like I do, but they might not have the support that I do to get here and to be involved. We do have higher turnout for elections in Clifton Forge than a lot of the rest of the county. We have a lot of people who are interested, and we have a lot of people who want to be involved in what decisions are made. We have community gatherings that are run by the Clifton Forge Main Street folks. We have a lot of turnout for those. We do have low turnout, I guess you would call it, tonight, but we do have people who are interested and involved. A lot of the faces are faces that I see pretty often at other events. I think that I would be a good candidate for town council because I do take the time to make sure that I'm at these events, whether or not it is hard for me to get here. I do have 2 small children. I want them to grow up happy and healthy here. I want them to feel safe and loved by their town. I want them, when they turn 18, to want to stay because they have good prospects for jobs, that they have people that they like to socialize with. I want them to be here until I retire, until I'm long gone. I want them to stay right here because they love it here as much as I do. I may not have grown up in Clifton Forge, but I spent a lot of time here for my brother's Little League games, and I spent time at the middle school and spending time with friends downtown. And I truly love Clifton Forge, and I'm so happy that my husband and I, when we were looking for a place to live, decided to move here, and that I decided at that time I would make myself involved and I would make sure that I would help with the progress of bringing back Clifton Forge and making it just a little bit better if I can. Thank you.
When I was still working full-time in Virginia State Parks, I actually used to dream of retiring at Douthit State Park so that I could retire to Clifton Forge. That is a true story. In April of 2017, that dream became reality for me when I married my husband and made this my permanent home. I love Clifton Forge. I love everything about our small town. I love the community. I love the people. I love the topography. It's just such a beautiful place to be. I never in my wildest dreams thought I would be a politician. I hate the word. But here I am, you know, I'm not working on a resume. I'm retired. I am doing this because I love our community, I love Clifton Forge, and I want to continue doing everything I can to make this a better place to live and work for everyone, whether you're a permanent resident or you're just traveling through, enjoying some of the tourism that we have to offer. Again, my background is pretty extensive in public service, and I've just, you know, I love to be able to use that experience from my background to help us prosper here in Clifton Forge. So I think I'm a good listener, and I love people. I work for you, and I'm hoping that I can continue to work for you while we work together to continue to make Clifton Forge the best place it can be to live and work.
Well, I would love to tell you, if you vote for me, that the streets are going to turn to gold and Willie Nelson's going to play on the stage, but that's not going to happen. The reason I want to be on council, my grandpa owned a gas station in this town for 57 years, and I remember as a little kid sitting in there and listening to people come in and out, and tell stories of the old Clifton Forge High School, tell stories of other things. There's a heritage here, there's a history, there's also a future coming. And I really want to be part of when those two meet and to watch this town grow. I'd like to be a part of it. I'm easy to get along with. I do cut up, I apologize. But I listen, and I would love to represent each and every one of y'all when November gets here. Thank you.
Great. Let's give our candidates a round of applause, and thank you. Thank you all for your past public service. Thank you for the candidates who are willing to be public servants, not a politician, but a public servant. We encourage everyone to vote, and with that note, I want to thank everyone for attending. Thank everyone who will be watching this, and thanks to our candidates once again, and have a good evening.